Improving students' relationships with teachers has important, positive, and long lasting implications for both students' academic and social development. Solely improving students' relationships with their teachers will not produce gains in achievement. However, those students who have close, positive, and supportive relationships with their teachers will attain higher levels of achievement than those students with more conflict in their relationships. A student with a good relationship with her teachers is likely to trust her teacher more, show more engagement in learning, behave better in class, and achieve at higher levels academically. Positive teacher-student relationship draws students into the process of learning and promote their desire to learn. By learning about how your relationships with your students affects their learning, you will understand how to get the best out of your students by fostering solid, positive relationships with them, which will cause your reputation as a teacher to rise because of how great your relationships with your students are. In this module, we will learn about 1. Perception of relationships, 2. Contributing factors, 3. Effects of student-teacher relationships. Let's look at student perception of relationships first. Student perception plays an important role in the quality of teaching. Research suggests that the most powerful predictor of a child's motivation is the child's perception of control. If the student feels like they have control, they are likely to believe that the teacher is attuned to their needs. Teachers who ensure that their students have a sense of control will have a more positive relationship with their students than those who don't. For example, Roshni, a teacher, makes sure to get feedback from her students in order to improve her teaching. This gives her students a sense of control, which positively affects Roshni's relationships with her students. Students who feel their teacher is not supportive towards them have less interest in learning and are less engaged in the classroom. Moreover, students and teachers influence each other. When a student perceives that he is welcomed and wanted in the classroom, he is more likely to be engaged and motivated. Students who perceive that their teachers are supportive have better achievement outcomes on standardized math and English tests. For example, Rajiv and Neha are both teachers. Rajiv is extremely strict, while Neha is kind and supportive. This is why Neha's students do better than Rajiv's. Now, let's look at contributing factors. Teachers who believe that classrooms should focus on student interests and needs create a classroom environment that fosters better relationships between students and teachers. Teachers who are friendly and positive develop better relationships with their students. Educators who are less friendly or who play favorites are less likely to maintain positive relationships with their students and are more likely to have conflict with their students. Teachers have a responsibility to welcome all students and create an air of respect between the students and the teachers so that positive relationships can be formed. For example, Reena was a teacher who tried to be a friend of her students. She treated her students with kindness and respect. For this reason, Reena's students did well academically, and Reena developed close-knit, positive relationships with her students that often lasted years after the student completed her class. Students who have had negative experiences in their pasts have a more difficult time forming positive relationships with teachers. These experiences can include interactions with prior teachers or other adults. Children who come from poor families are more at risk of having negative relationships with their teachers than students from wealthier families. In addition, students who have behavioral problems are more likely to have conflicts with their teachers. it is more difficult for teachers to form positive and supportive relationships with students who misbehave. For example, Gino was the child of an alcoholic. Because Gino's experiences with his father were so negative, Gino had problems getting along with his teachers, and he often misbehaved. Gino needed a very caring, extra understanding teacher to reach out to him so that he would stop misbehaving and could spend his time in school learning. Conversely, when a student has positive relationships with their teachers, it improves the likelihood of forming good relationships with future teachers. These students feel a sense of control and security. Students who achieve at higher academic levels also have more positive relationships with their teachers. Teachers invest more time in relationships with students who are more likely to succeed. For example, Veena was a topper at her school. Because of this, she had very good relationships with all of her teachers. Veena's teachers would spend extra time with Veena because of her high level of academic performance. Effects of student-teacher relationships. Finally, we look at the effects of student-teacher relationships. Good teacher-student relationships result in students behaving better in the classroom. A positive learning environment in the classroom helps maintain student interest and active engagement in learning. On the other hand, if the foundation for a good relationship is lacking, it will negatively impact student behaviors. Students won't follow rules and they won't trust teachers or listen to what teachers have to say. Students need to experience emotional involvement from their teachers. Furthermore, students who have positive relationships with teachers are less likely to avoid school. Experiencing a sense of belonging greatly contributes to developing positive relationships and positive behaviors. For example, Julie was a student who loved going to school. She had good relationships with her teachers, was well behaved, and an eager contributor to classroom discussions. Julie's teachers made her feel like she belonged when she was in class, and this caused her relationships with her teachers and her classroom experience to be positive. The nature of teacher and student interactions also shape the quality of the relationships. Teachers have more negative interactions with students who are peer rejected and with students who are less academically and behaviorally competent. This negative relationship with teachers also affects the way other students view the student having problems and causes all of the classroom relationships of the student having problems to deteriorate. To prevent this, teachers have to be very aware of their interactions with students and the influence these interactions have on all the students. Taking time to build positive relationships with students can have profound effects on that child's school experiences, both within and outside of the classroom. For example, Rahul often misbehaved in class. This caused Rahul to be scolded frequently. The other students avoided Rahul for this reason. When Rahul's teacher realized what was happening, she stopped scolding Rahul in front of the class and pulled him aside privately when Rahul misbehaved. This caused the other students in the class to start talking to Rahul again. Building and maintaining positive teacher-student relationships is essential for success in the classroom. Students who perceive their teachers as more supportive have better achievement outcomes. Additionally, the learning environment plays a significant role in maintaining student interest and engagement. When students feel a sense of control and security in the classroom, they are more engaged because they approach learning with enthusiasm and vigor. It is essential that students feel a sense of belonging to be engaged and motivated. The first step to helping a student become more motivated and engaged and thus academically successful is building and maintaining positive teacher-student relationships. It is extremely important to build good relationships with students so that they are motivated. This can be done by engaging in the following activities. 1. Talking sessions can be organized between teachers and students to promote bonding. 2. Trips can be planned where teachers and students can engage each other freely in order to promote good relationships. Congratulations! Now you understand the basics of the importance of teacher-student relationships. Keep watching to learn more.